Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Boardman. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for this brand new video on another Read Aloud video. Since you might recognise me in the previous videos, I have read all the books I've done so far. I hope you enjoyed so far. So, this first of all, let's start another Read Aloud for story time together. So, hereby, I have got a book I can show you. I'll go read in a minute. I've got Disney Pixar Up. This is published by Disney's Run of the World with Reading. So if you're quite familiar with Up, which is inspired by original CGI animated film by Disney and Pixar film Up from 2009. So, before I do, I'm going to read by words and also show some pictures from each page. Okay, are you sure you are ready? Will I read to you? Excellent. You have come to the right place. I really appreciate that. So, let's begin. At the cinema, young Kyle Fredricksen gazed up in wonder at the silver screen. Fair, larger than life was his all-time idol. Kyle didn't want to miss the word of what he has to say. Charles Muntz, a famous explorer, was about to board his airship and set off for South America in search of a mysterious creature known as the Monster of Paradise Falls. The adventure is out there, declared Muntz. Cole dreamed that one day he would be an explorer just like his hero. As Cole walked home, still dreaming of being an explorer, he heard a shout. "Adventures out there." The voice came from the derelict house. Kyle decided to investigate. In the house, the girl called Ellie was piloting her own imaginary airship. When she saw Kyle in his helmet and goggles, she realized that he was an explorer just like her. She pinned a badge made from a grape soda bottle cap into his shirt. "You and me, we're in the club now," she explained. Straight away, Kyle and Ellie had their first adventure, but fell and broke his arm. To cheer him up, Ellie showed him up her adventure book. "Charles Muntz, explorer," she said Ellie. "When I get big, I'm going where he's going, South America." Ellie had even drawn a picture of a house parked right next to the Paradise Falls. Carl promised that he would take her to her dream location one day. From a day, Carl and Ellie were best friends, and when they grew up, they got married and moved into the house where they had first met. For years went by. Kyle and Ellie grew old. They never did get round to becoming explorers. When Ellie died, Kyle was alone in a big house. Nothing was the same without his beloved Ellie. Even the neighborhood was changing. All old houses were being pulled down to make way for bigger modern buildings. One day, a boy in uniform knocked at Cole's door. "My name is Russell. I'm a junior wilderness explorer. Are you in need of assistance today, sir?" he asked. Russell was keen to earn his assisting the elderly badge, but Cole just wanted this pest to leave him in peace. He sent Russell off on a mission to track down a bird called Snipe. that he had been eating his flowers. But there was no such bird. Cole had made a story up to get rid of Russell. Alone again at last, Kyle leafed through Ellie's adventure book. He felt even more miserable than usual because he was going to be forced out of his house and sent to live in a retirement home. Kyle decided that the time had come to take action. He had a wonderful idea. Next day, when two nurses from a home came to collect Kyle, they couldn't believe their eyes. Kyle's house, attached to hundreds and hundreds of balloons, was floating high up into the air. "We are on our way, Ellie," cried Kyle happily, as he piloted his course for South America. Knock, knock, knock. Kyle was startled. Who could be knocking at the door? The house was flying thousands of feet up in the air. It was Russell, who had been searching for a snipe under Kyle's house when it took off. Kyle decided he would have to land to let Russell off, but just then a massive storm broke. Kyle tried to avoid the storm, but it was too late. As the house was tossed around, Kyle tried desperately to save Ellie's things. Eventually, he gave up and fell asleep exhausted. At last, Kyle woke up. "I started the house," said Russell proudly. "We're in South America." Just then, the house landed with a bump, and they both tumbled off the porch. Then the house began to rise up again, and Kyle had to grab the garden hose to stop his house from floating away. Kyle looked around. To his amazement, he realized he was looking at the Paradise Falls. Looked just as it did in Ellie's book. "We made it!" yelled Kyle happily. The house was too high off the ground for them to clamber back on, so the pair decided to walk to the falls. Pulling the house along using the golden hose on the way, Russell met the giant multicolored bird, who he decided to call Kevin. The bird seemed to be friendly and liked Russell. It loved chocolate. Russell wanted to keep the bird, but Kyle refused. As they set off again for the falls, Russell secretly dropped a trail of chocolate so that the bird would follow them. A little further on, Kyle and Russell came across a dog. "Hi there," said the dog. "My name is Doug." Doug explained that his master made him a high-tech collar that allowed him to talk. Doug also said he was on a mission to find the bird. At that moment, Kevin appeared. "That's the bird!" exclaimed Doug. "May I take your bird back to camp as my prisoner?" But Russell didn't want to lose his new friend. He made Kyle promise not to let the bird be taken. Eventually, they all set off again, with Doug still trying to persuade Kevin to be his prisoner. The next morning, Kevin was calling out sadly. Doug explained that she needed to go home to her chicks. Russ was amazed. Kevin was a girl. The group carried on their journey without her. As they made their way towards the fall, 3 fierce dogs leaped out of some bushes. "Where's the bird?" sneered one of the dogs. When they found out that Doug had let the bird escape, The dogs demanded that the threesome return with them to their master. The dogs bared their teeth menacingly. The group realized they had no choice but to obey. The dogs lead the cave to the group to the cave. At the entrance stood an old man surrounded by dogs. When he saw the man, Kyle exclaimed, "Wait, are you Charles Muntz?" Kyle couldn't believe he was meeting his childhood hero. Muntz was pleased to have guests, so he invited them to his home. He showed them the skeleton of a giant bird. They have spent a lifetime tracking it. He explained. Hey, that looks like Kevin, cried Russell. You know this bird, said Muntz suspiciously. Kyle realized that he and Russell were in danger. Muntz furious became. He thought that Kyle and Russell wanted to steal the bird from him. Let the pack of dogs loose. Luckily, Kevin arrived just in time to save Kyle Russell. The pair leaped onto Kevin's back, and with Doug's help, they managed to get out of the cave, but outside, they found themselves at the edge of a cliff, with a pack of dogs hot on their heels. They were trapped. Luckily, a gust of wind lifted a house with a friendly clinging onto the hose below it, into the air and away from the dogs. They were safe. But the friends hadn't reckoned on the cunning of Charles Muntz. He had tracked them down in a spirit of adventure. Muntz threw his lantern at the house, starting a fire. Carl had to choose between saving Kevin or his house. He rushed to put out the flames, and Kevin was captured and bundled into the airship. Inside the house, Carl found Ellie's adventure book. To his surprise, the pages at the back of the book were blank. They were full of pictures of their life together. Ellie had written a message below the last photo. Thanks for the adventure. Now go have a new one. Love, Ellie. Suddenly, Carl heard a noise on the roof. He hurried outside just in time to see Russell rising into the air, holding a large bunch of balloons. I'm gonna help Kevin, even if you won't. Russell called to Kyle. No, Russell, Kyle cried, and tried to set off after him, but the house wouldn't budge. Frustrated, Kyle tossed a chair off the porch. The house rose a little. This gave Kyle an idea. He began throwing everything out of the house until it was light enough to take off into the air. Kyle set off after Russell, who had been captured by Muntz and imprisoned on the airship. Using a garden hose like a rope, Kyle swung a house over to the airship and managed to rescue Russell. With Russell safe inside the house, Kyle set off to free Kevin, but they first had to deal with the fierce dogs who were guarding Kevin's cage. Kyle took the ball from his walking cane and shouted, "Who wants the ball?" He threw the ball and the dogs chased off after it. With the dogs out of the way, he could finally free Kevin. Suddenly, Muntz appeared, waving a huge sword. The two men began to fight. Meanwhile, Russell was trying to defend a house from dogs in fighter planes. Carl finally managed to free Kevin, and they joined Russell and Doug in the house. But some balloons burst and the house crashed on the roof of airship. Carl fell off out of the house while Muntz ran in to get Kevin. The house was teetering dangerously on the edge of the ship. Everyone hang on to Kevin, Carl yelled. He waved some chocolate at Kevin. The bird ran towards it and leaped through the window, taking Russell and Doug with her. Muntz tried to grab Kevin, but his foot got caught on a bunch of balloons. He drifted away. Carl and Russell took Kevin back to their family. After a brief stop to meet the Cheeks, the two adventures accomplished by Doug set off for home, aboard a spirit of adventure. Carl may have lost his house, but he had gained 2 new friends. At last, the adventure was over. Russell had truly earned his assisting the elderly badge. On the day of the ceremony, Carl came up to the stage to pin on Russell's badge. He had an extra surprise for Russell. The grape soda cap badge that Ellie had given him all these years ago. Russell for assisting the elderly and for performing above and below the cause duty. I would like to award you of the highest honour I could bestow, the Ellie badge, said Kyle. Russell smiled proudly, knowing that the friends had many more adventures together in store. The end. So, I hope you guys who loved that story of Disney Pixar Up. It's a really interesting story about an elderly man named Carl Fredricksen and a boy named Russell. He was been travelling to Paradise Falls in South America when he met a felon who was a hero to Carl. There was Charles Muntz. So, please feel free to give thumbs up if you enjoy it, and if it comes down below, I would really appreciate you guys, and hopefully we can do another videos in the future. And remember, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification, and click the bell and don't miss out future contents. Also, look at my social links. You can follow me on Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok and Instagram. That'd be really appreciate you guys. Also, you can support my additional content and exclusive ones. Okay guys, so thank you ever so much, and please stay tuned for another content. I'll see you soon. Thank you.